When you enjoy the terrifying reign of Pennywise and the spirited kids fight back, you probably don't realize how deep the lore on the character really is. Stephen King didn't randomly create Pennywise out of thin air, and there's a lot of world building around this character. Did you know about the supreme creator in Stephen King's universe, Gan? He represents the ultimate creative force, and this godlike entity can be viewed as the supreme deity who brought order to limitless chaos. He's also the one behind the creation of the physical universe and infinite parallel dimensions, and among his creations is the mysterious entity Pennywise. However, there is purpose and planning behind everything, and in this video, I'll bring you a big chunk of Stephen King's lore around Pennywise and his existence. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Gan, the supreme creator of all existence? Alright, let's start at the absolute beginning of everything. Before there were worlds, before there was time, before there was anything at all, there was only the Prim. Think of the Prim as this massive, chaotic sea of primordial magic, just swirling around in complete darkness with no form or structure. It was pure, raw, untamed magical energy, and floating in this chaos were all kinds of horrifying demon creatures and monsters. Now, from this chaotic void emerged Gan. Gan is the god figure in Stephen King's universe, and Gan is the supreme being, the ultimate creator. When Gan rose from the Prim, something absolutely incredible happened. He literally spun the physical universe from his navel, creating the Dark Tower and all the multiple worlds that exist around it. The Dark Tower itself is actually believed to be a physical manifestation of Gan. Some people in King's mythology think that Gan and the Tower are one and the same. The Tower is literally Gan's body. This massive structure exists at the center of all reality, and it's the linchpin holding every single universe together. Gan created 6 beams that radiate out from the tower like spokes on a wheel, and these beams are what keep the entire multiverse stable. At the end of each beam, Gan placed guardian animals to protect them, because even if one beam breaks, the entire multiverse collapses into chaos. But here's where it gets really interesting. Gan isn't just the creator, he's also the spirit of the Dark Tower itself. He represents everything good, everything pure, everything orderly in the universe. In King's mythology, this force is called the White, and it stands in direct opposition to the Red, which is all about chaos, destruction, and evil. Gan's entire purpose is to maintain cosmic balance and preserve the integrity of all existence against forces that want to destroy it. Who is Bessa, the divine mother and goddess of life? Now, Gan didn't create everything alone. He had a partner, a wife, and her name is Bessa. While Gan gets most of the attention, in King's lore, Bessa is just as important, and honestly, she doesn't get nearly enough recognition. Bessa is described as a goddess with significant power over individuals' lives, and she's actually the patroness of gamblers and is associated with riddling. In the mythology of King's universe, Bessa is credited with creating riddling as a source of entertainment for Gan. She also placed the buffalo star in the sky, which shows that she had a hand in shaping the cosmos alongside her husband. But Bessa's most important role is as the goddess of life force, or what's called Kef in the Dark Tower series. She's the one who gave Gan the gift of the roses that surrounded the Dark Tower. These aren't just ordinary roses, they represent life itself, creation itself, and they serve as a protective shield around the tower. The relationship between Gan and Bessa mirrors a lot of creation myths from real-world religions. They're the divine couple, the cosmic parents who brought order out of chaos. Gan provides the structure and the power, while Bessa provides the life force and the nurturing energy. Together, they create not just the tower and the universes, but also something much more controversial and much more fascinating: 2 opposing cosmic suns. How Gan and Bessa created Pennywise and Matarine. Gan and Bessa didn't just create worlds and stars, they created cosmic entities, beings of unimaginable power that existed before our universe was even formed. The 2 most important of these entities are Matarine the turtle and the creature we know as Pennywise, whose true name is actually the Deadlights. Now, there's some debate in King's lore about whether Gan directly created these beings, or whether they emerged from the Prim independently. Some sources suggest that an entity called the Other, or the Final Other, created both Matarine and Pennywise. But the most widely accepted interpretation is that Gan is the Other, or at least that Gan was responsible for their existence in the grand cosmic plan. Matarine came into being as a benevolent force of pure creation. This ancient turtle is one of the 12 guardians of the beams that support the Dark Tower. But Matarine isn't just any guardian. He's described as semi-divine and holds a higher position in the cosmic hierarchy than the other guardians. The mythology tells us that Matarine literally created our universe by accident. He had a stomach ache, probably from eating too much cosmic energy or something, and he vomited out our entire universe. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's actually what happened in King's cosmology. Everything we know, every star, every planet, every living thing, came from Maturin's cosmic upset stomach. Pennywise, on the other hand, came from a much darker place. The Deadlights, which is Pennywise's true form, exist in a dimension beyond even the macroverse. While human minds can only perceive Pennywise as a shape-shifting clown or a giant spider, the true form is something that drives people insane just by looking at it. The Deadlights are described as an endless, crawling creature made of orange light, and they represent pure chaos, pure malevolence, pure destruction. Both Maturin and Pennywise existed in the macroverse together, long before conventional concepts of time and space were established. They're described as siblings or brothers in a cosmic sense, even though they're complete opposites. And this brings us to the most important question. Why would Gan create two beings that are so fundamentally opposed to each other? Why Gan created two opposing suns, the cosmic duality. This is where Gan's ultimate plan starts to reveal itself, and honestly, it's brilliant in a twisted sort of way. Gan didn't create Maturin and Pennywise as enemies just for fun. He created them because the universe needs both creation and destruction to function. Think about it this way. If there was only creation and nothing was ever destroyed, the universe would become so overcrowded and chaotic that it would collapse on itself. But if there was only destruction and nothing was ever created, there would be nothing at all, just empty void. Gan understood this fundamental truth of existence. Creation and destruction are two sides of the same coin, and they have to exist in balance for reality to work. Maturin represents the creative force, the nurturing force, the force that builds and sustains life. He's kind, wise, and compassionate, often described as having a grandfatherly demeanor when he interacts with humans. Maturin's entire purpose is to create, to nurture, to help things grow and flourish. Pennywise represents the exact opposite. It's the destructive force, the chaotic force, the force that breaks things down and consumes them. Pennywise feeds on fear and terror, but on a cosmic level, it serves the purpose of destruction and entropy. It's not just evil for the sake of being evil, it's fulfilling its cosmic role in the grand design. This duality isn't unique to King's mythology either. Almost every major religion and philosophical system recognizes this need for balance between opposing forces. In Hinduism, you have Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. And all three are necessary for the cosmic cycle to function. In Chinese philosophy, you have yin and yang. In physics, you have matter and antimatter, energy and entropy. The universe is built on these opposing forces, working together to create balance. What makes Gan's creation so fascinating is that he deliberately made one sun good and one sun evil. Maturin embodies compassion, benevolence, and order. Pennywise embodies malevolence, chaos, and fear. They're natural enemies, locked in an eternal cosmic opposition. But here's the key. They're also equal in power. Neither one can completely destroy the other without upsetting the cosmic balance that Gan has established. What Pennywise and Maturin represent in the grand design. So, what do these two cosmic entities actually represent in terms of the bigger picture? Well, Maturin represents everything that Gan stands for. Creation, growth, life, and order. He's an extension of Gan's will, working to maintain the stability of the multiverse and protect the Dark Tower. When the Losers Club in It confronts Pennywise, Maturin is the one who provides guidance and wisdom. He doesn't fight their battles for them because that's not his way, but he gives them the knowledge and courage they need to face the monster. Maturin's role is to support and nurture. He's the force that says, life is precious, imagination is powerful, love can conquer fear. He represents the best parts of humanity, our creativity, our compassion, and our ability to come together and overcome darkness. In the novel It, when Bill Denbrough enters the ritual of Chud and connects with the Maturin on a cosmic level, the turtle tells him something incredibly important. Pennywise is afraid of human potential, afraid of imagination, and afraid of Maturin himself. Pennywise, on the other hand, represents everything that threatens creation. It's the embodiment of fear, of trauma, and the darkness that lurks in every human heart. But on a cosmic scale, Pennywise represents entropy, the natural tendency of all systems to break down and return to chaos. It calls itself the Eater of Worlds, and that's not just a boast. Stephen King strongly implies that Pennywise has actually destroyed other worlds before arriving on Earth. It's a cosmic force that travels through the macroverse, finding worlds with life, feeding on the fear of that life, and ultimately consuming everything. But here's the really interesting part. Pennywise might actually be necessary. I know that sounds crazy, but think about it. If nothing ever died, if nothing was ever destroyed, the universe would stagnate. Death and destruction, as terrifying as they are, serve a purpose in the cosmic cycle. They make room for new creation, new life, new possibilities. Pennywise takes this to an extreme, obviously, but it's fulfilling a role that has to exist in some form for the universe to function. The relationship between Matarine and Pennywise is like the relationship between day and night, summer and winter, life and death. They're opposites, but they're also necessary counterparts. One cannot exist without the other, and both are essential to maintaining the cosmic balance that Gan has created. The eternal purpose of Gan and his ultimate goal. But what is Gan actually trying to accomplish with all of this? Why create a universe at all? Why create opposing forces? What's the endgame here? Well, Gan's ultimate goal is both simple and incredibly complex. At its core, Gan wants to preserve existence itself against the forces of absolute chaos. Remember, before Gan created the tower and the universes, there was only the Prim, that chaotic sea of darkness and demons. When Gan rose from the Prim and created the tower, he pushed back the chaos and established order. But the chaos didn't disappear. It just got pushed to the edges, into the spaces between worlds, into what's called the Todash darkness. And in that darkness, creatures like Pennywise thrive, always waiting, always hungry, always trying to break through and drag everything back into chaos. Gan's purpose is to prevent that from happening. The Dark Tower is the linchpin, the center point, the anchor that keeps all of reality stable. If the tower falls, every universe collapses and everything returns to the Prim. It's literally the end of all existence across infinite dimensions. To prevent this, Gan created the beams and the guardians to support the tower. He created entities like Matarine to nurture and protect life. And yes, he even created entities like Pennywise to fulfill the destructive part of the cosmic cycle. But Gan also created something else. He created Ka, which is basically destiny or fate. Ka is described as a wheel, constantly turning, guiding events and people towards certain outcomes. Gan uses Ka to ensure that the right people are in the right places at the right times to protect the tower. In the novel Insomnia, Gan intervenes to protect a boy named Patrick Danville, who eventually will play a crucial role in saving the Dark Tower. In it, Gan subtly helps the Losers Club by working through Matarine, giving them the powers they need to defeat Pennywise. Gan's ultimate goal is eternal preservation. He wants the tower to stand forever, the beams to remain strong, and the multiverse to continue existing. But here's the fascinating part. Gan knows he can't just eliminate all destructive forces. That would upset the balance. So instead, he created a system where creation and destruction are in constant tension, constantly pushing against each other, but never allowing one side to completely win. The goal of Pennywise and how it fits into Gan's plans. So where does Pennywise fit into all this? On the surface, Pennywise seems like it's working against Gan's plans. After all, it's a destructive force that feeds on fear and kills innocent people. It calls itself the Eater of Worlds, and has possibly destroyed entire civilizations on other planets. If Pennywise had its way, it would consume all life on Earth, and eventually destroy our entire universe. So how does this align with Gan's cosmic purpose? Well, here's the thing. Pennywise isn't actually trying to destroy the Dark Tower itself. Unlike the Crimson King, who actively works to bring down the tower and collapse all of reality, Pennywise seems content to just feed and sleep in its 27-year cycles. It's not trying to break the beams or attack the Guardians. It crashed on Earth millions of years ago, set up shop under Derry, and has been feeding on the town's children ever since. In a weird way, Pennywise has actually settled into a routine that, while horrifying, is relatively contained. This might be part of Gan's plan. By allowing Pennywise to exist on Earth in a limited capacity, Gan satisfies the need for a destructive force in the universe, without letting that force grow powerful enough to threaten the tower itself. Pennywise takes a small number of victims every 27 years, but Earth's population keeps growing regardless. It's like Gan has created a pressure valve, a way for destructive cosmic energy to be released in controlled bursts, rather than building up until it explodes and takes everything with it. There's also evidence that Gan uses Pennywise as a test, a crucible for strengthening human courage and imagination. When the Losers Club defeats Pennywise, they don't do it with weapons or physical force. They do it with belief, with imagination, with love for each other, and with the refusal to give in to fear. These are the exact qualities that Gan values, and qualities that help protect the White and the Tower. By surviving Pennywise, the Losers Club proves that human will and imagination are powerful enough to stand against cosmic evil. And here's a really interesting theory. What if Gan deliberately allows Pennywise to exist in Derry specifically because Derry is also home to Patrick Danville? Patrick, who will eventually help Roland Deschain in the Dark Tower series, had such a vivid imagination that he was drawing pictures of Roland in the tower based on his dreams. Pennywise is drawn to people with strong imaginations because they taste better. So Gan might have used Pennywise's presence in Derry as a way to identify and test individuals like Patrick, who have the kind of powerful imagination that will be needed to save the tower later. Pennywise's goal is simple on the surface: feed on fear, consume life, and continue existing. But in the context of Gan's larger plan, Pennywise serves as the necessary destructive counterweight to Matarine's creative force. The eternal conflict between Maturin and Pennywise. The conflict between Maturin and Pennywise is ancient, literally older than our universe itself. They've been locked in this cosmic opposition since before time began, and their battle plays out across dimensions and realities. But here's what makes their conflict so interesting. They almost never actually fight each other directly. Maturin isn't a warrior god. He's not going to swoop down and attack Pennywise in some epic cosmic battle. That's just not his nature. Maturin is wise, patient, and somewhat passive. He retreats into his shell and sleeps for long periods, only intervening when absolutely necessary. When he does help, it's usually by providing guidance and wisdom rather than direct action. In the novel It, Maturin appears to Bill Denbrough during the ritual of Chud and tells him how to fight Pennywise, but he doesn't fight the battle for him. Pennywise, on the other hand, actively fears Maturin. During the confrontation with the Losers Club, Pennywise snarls at the turtle from afar, but never actually engages him in direct combat. Why? Because Pennywise knows that if Maturin really wanted to, he could destroy Pennywise. They're equal in power, but Maturin represents order and creation, which are inherently more stable and enduring than chaos and destruction. Pennywise may be powerful, but it's also spiteful, egotistical, and juvenile. It lies constantly and is driven by hunger and fear. The ritual of Chud is the mechanism through which humans can engage Pennywise in battle, and it's fascinating because it's essentially a battle of wills and imagination. The ritual involves staring into Pennywise's deadlights and engaging in a psychic confrontation, where both parties metaphorically bite each other's tongues. The first one to laugh or break concentration loses. It's not about physical strength, it's about the power of belief and imagination. When Bill performs the ritual of Chud as a child, he encounters Maturin in the Macroverse, and the turtle gives him key insight. There is only Chud and your friends. What Maturin is telling Bill is that the only way to defeat Pennywise is through unity, through the combined strength of the Losers Club working together. Maturin provides the wisdom, but the humans have to provide the courage and the action. When the losers return as adults for the final confrontation, Pennywise gleefully tells Bill that Maturin is dead, that he choked to death on a galaxy or two. Bill even sees what appears to be Maturin's corpse floating in the Macroverse. Whether this is actually true or just an illusion created by Pennywise to demoralize Bill is debated by fans. But even if Maturin is dead, his influence remains. The wisdom he imparted, the courage he inspired, the belief he fostered in the Losers Club, all of that continues to work against Pennywise. Marvelous verdict. The cosmic purpose finally gives some context. So, now you know that Gan and Bessa are the divine cosmic parents who created literally everything that exists in Stephen King's multiverse. In their cosmic wisdom, they created two opposing forces to maintain the balance necessary for existence. Maturin the turtle, representing creation, compassion, and order, and Pennywise the deadlights, representing destruction, fear, and chaos. These two entities are fundamental forces of the universe, essential components in Gan's grand design. They're brothers in a cosmic sense, locked in an eternal opposition that keeps the universe in balance. The conflict between Maturin and Pennywise is eternal, playing out across dimensions and through human proxies like the Losers Club. It's a battle where imagination, courage, and love are just as powerful as cosmic might, where human will can stand against entities that have existed since before time began. And that's ultimately the most hopeful message in King's mythology. We matter. So next time you watch It and see Pennywise terrorizing those kids in Derry, remember that you were witnessing just one small battle in an eternal cosmic war. Behind everything is Gan, the supreme creator, maintaining the balance and guiding events to preserve all of existence. And maybe, just maybe, that terrifying clown in the sewer is playing a role in the grand cosmic purpose that we're only beginning to understand. Do let me know in the comments below what you think of this fascinating lore, and also share your thoughts on whether you think Maturin can appear going ahead in It, Welcome to Derry. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.